Hello, hello. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Rabell Realty Group podcast with myself, Kristen Rabell.
And Rebecca Johnson.
Rebecca Johnson. We're here on our very last April of the year. So we don't get to enjoy our birthday month anymore.
Nope.
It's been a great birthday month.
Well, my birthday's at the end of the month, so I feel like I should get until mid-May.
Yeah, but next Monday is May, so we're not going to get to celebrate on Monday.
We're still in Taurus season. We just started Taurus season. So now we're going to...
So we'll still celebrate your Taurus sign, but not your birthday month anymore.
There you go.
But yes, April is the month for water conservation. So we have invited Chase McNeil of the Masters Lawn Care. He'll be on here. We'll talk a little bit about that and other great ways to keep up your lawn during this time of the year, what you've missed and what you can continue to do to help your lawn grow luscious and beautiful, which he did kind of state like it's Florida. Anything can kind of grow here, but
that's not true. Not anything. There are parts.
I do feel like there are things that can be done to help, especially grass. And we'll talk about maybe different types of grass also. If you have any questions about lawn care or grass type or irrigation problems, type them in there and we'll be happy to answer. I'm sure Chase will have lots of answers, more than I will or Rebecca, although we like to say we have green thumbs. We definitely...
Look, I have a better green thumb now that I don't live in High Springs anymore. And that'll be one thing I'm curious to hear is how close to the sun is High Springs, because everything I ever planted burnt there, including grass.
Oh, see, the wind and the cold there is what killed everything for me.
Oh, yeah, the cold snaps.
It would just snap my trees, my little trees that I would plant. It would snap them. That wind was insane up there. So, yeah, we'll talk all about that. And we're excited to have him on. We'll come on after our Monday Market Moment. So let's hit that up.
All right, let's take a look and see what's happening in North Central Florida. All right, so we will start in Gainesville. So we're at the end of April. So remember, we're taking a look from April 1st until the end of the month. So we are on the 25th day, and we have 98 active that are currently available that have started since April 1st, 286 pending for the month, and 219 closed. It's on the lower side, I think.
But we're seeing that all around.
Right.
And that's just for April. There's still other things that are available and active in general in Gainesville, Alachua. So for April, a slow April, but we'll see increases as we go on.
These listings are hard to get now. I'm impressed with the 286 that are pending, because I just called on a place that literally the sign went out today and it already is under contract.
Right.
So
there's those pending all in this month.
I know.
It goes pretty fast.
And then we've got Hillsborough, just because I'm fascinated by the 444 active.
Yeah, there we go. Those numbers are looking more real.
I know. And then you've got 852 pended and 704 closed so far.
Granted, they're still low.
That is low for them, but
that's better numbers. All in 1 month again. That's pretty impressive.
Then we'll boogie up to Ocala and Marion and see 233 active, 557 pended, and 397 closed. Looking strong. I know they're in the same situation we are, where they're all seeking listings. So if you have somebody looking to sell in any of these areas, please keep us in mind. Really, in anywhere in between, I would be willing to drive and list. So, so connect to the orange dots and follow the coastline for me. And then over in St. Augustine Beach area. Let me be specific to be terrific, since we have a B&I guest on. Sorry, I love all you B&I people. All right.
And ex-B&I are here. Yes. Former, we should say.
Recovering. 40 active, 23 pending, and 29 closed.
And I think this is actually for the year in this one MLS.
That MLS is a little different.
Right. So yeah, I mean, the numbers are still low. Some are obviously larger towns and do have a lot more than the others. And again, it's all for the month of April. So there we go. That's our snapshot for April. Next week, we'll be able to have the full month of April, and maybe we'll do March versus April. And here we go. Our guest speaker today is Chase McNeil, again from the Masters Lawn Care. So welcome here. Thanks for coming on.
I appreciate y'all having me. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started working for the Masters Lawn Care?
Yep. So my name is Chase McNeil. I joined the Masters Lawn Care April 1st, 2013. From Palaca, moved here went to school at Santa Fe and then to UF for agriculture operations management. Finished school and parents kind of, hey, you're done with sports, done with scholarships, kind of start paying the bills. And I was like, I want to stay in Gainesville one more year, kind of live the school life of football and doing that.
It's fun here.
Knew how to do a little bit of basic lawn maintenance stuff. And we were a small company at the time and found our company online on Craigslist actually and joined it and figured it'd be a part-time thing, just get some overtime in the summer, grow a little financial foundation. And the owner, Rusty Thompson, kind of came to me with a vision of his plan for growth and development. And it became more than just a job. It kind of grew into a career, and 1 year turned into two to three, and 9 years later, here I am.
Here you are.
It's grown a lot in all positive ways.
But you're not still a Gainesville transplant. You've kind of moved back to your hometown.
Palaca, yep, moved back to Palaca. Once I got a little older, I missed the river, missed the country style of things, and the traffic in Gainesville was just not my cup of tea. So
we understand.
Back to Palaca I went, and I make the commute every day, an hour on the dot.
So your time at the Masters Lawn is not ending at any time soon. You can still live there and work here. So sounds like it's been able to help you, like you said, this is not just a job, it's your career, and help you have your family and take care of them. And you just told me you were in the process of selling your home in Palaca, East Palaca, and buying in Palaca. So you're able to sell and purchase, and sounds like a great career to have.
Yep. So far, I enjoy being outside, dealing with different people, different cultures of people. And for what I do personally at home, work, fishing, my kid, family stuff, the growth we're doing, it's allowed me to do all the things I wanted to do while have fun at work. So it's a win-win in my book.
All right. Well, I know Rusty, and he's a great leader. So
that's for sure.
Sounds like a great place to work and to start your own career with them. So, all right. Well, good. I also like that you got out of school, you were able to play a little bit and then really, hunker down.
Buckle down and move on. Yep. Kind of grow up a little bit.
All right. So let's talk about this month. We've kind of at the end of the month. So, it is Water Conservation Month, which is kind of jokingly, he didn't really realize that because you said, I work in this every day. So it's water conservation, lawn care, landscaping every day. Right.
It is, water conservation. Usually people, you mentioned April showers bring May flowers, but most people do their plantings in March, April. They consider springtime, when usually April's are one of our most drought stressed times of the year. So
right. So we were talking about this like old, adage, the April showers bring May flowers, but here in Florida, it's like one of the drier months. And same with March, although you were saying last month in March.
This past March, Florida, I think, received
You said 11%?
The most rainfall, since about 1900. Usually it's the average of 3 inches. We had about 11 inches.
So 11 inches. So it was really rainy. You know, you're sitting there trying to restart your spring flowers and your spring plants, and it's just pouring down rain. I know a lot of mine were just drenched and dying rather than enjoying the sunshine. So how did you all combat that? I mean,
with the rain too, obviously some cool weather snaps came through later than planned, which was a big question. But for us, we try to plan for these things in advance. You can't always plan for that type of.
You have the Farmer's Almanac, and you're looking to see which year is going to have
that scientific, but you usually do.
Now I know who reads the Farmer's Almanac. It's guys from Palaca. No, I'm joking. That are in lawn care.
If it involves hunting, maybe fishing, see the moon, but no. We just try to plan everything accordingly for the worst case scenario. Usually, we know March is going to have cool weather snaps, things like that. Just this year, bought the rain, and in this industry, there's only so many things you could do and can't do. Mm-hmm. So you kind of just do what you have and do the best horticultural practices proper to make sure those plants and turf stay healthy.
Okay.
What
sounds
bait
good.
is the
we've
best?
We've got a question here. It's not at all with landscaping, but what bait is the best for St. Johns River and Palaca area?
It depends on what you're fishing for.
Bass.
I'm a bass fisherman right now. They're actually schooling really well in certain areas, and my favorite bait right now is a white fluke with some blue flakes on it. Top water works phenomenal.
Oh, see, you can get some fishing tips to Susan, and she can catch a bass finally. Well, thanks for that.
I love you,
me
Susan.
too.
So what, I mean, this might be more of a gardener question, but I'm sure you'll have some insight. What is the best month to start cleaning up your plants? Like crepe myrtles. Everybody always wants to cut them down. Like, what is the best time of year to do that?
So it depends, honestly. The type of plant you're pruning, what you're pruning it for. Like I said, for us, a lot of people want to do crepe pruning towards the later part of the cool season. We try to wait till that last part of February, early March. Mm-hmm. Only reason I mentioned because there are still cool snaps that happen.
Right.
When you cut a plant, is tender. That wound's kind of
Right.
open per se. That cool weather is kind of like a bacteria or a virus getting into that wound. So the less you keep out of that open wound, the better it is for it.
Yeah.
So for us, we try to set that late part of February, early part of March.
I mean, shoot,
Most
we've
of
even
our-
had Aprils that were cold.
We
Well,
have.
this
Yes.
April has been a little chillier than usual.
Yep, a few weeks ago,
Yep.
I think there was a weekend in the 40s, and that's
Yeah,
just kind
that's
of
crazy.
And you can't always predict that. I mean,
You can't.
even if
It's
you're
usually,
really
like I
good
said-
with looking at that, you can't always predict it. So,
Yeah, no, and usually for Florida, you get those cool weather snaps in March. At that point, things have already started growing naturally, so you need to have them cut back.
Right.
Otherwise, if you miss it, they're just going to regrow, and the bigger cuts next year, possibly more stress again. So we just plan for that late February, early March.
and
is our
just do
kinda
it
target.
anyways. Have it on schedule and just get it done anyways.
Yep, it's
Right.
going to be warm enough. It'll come around.
It's Florida. It's hard to.
It's Florida. It's hard
there
to kill,
are,
but
most plants are hard to kill. There are
Gainesville
some
is
that are.
tricky. Yeah, Gainesville's that middle ground. We get a lot of people that move up from South Florida.
Uh-huh. And they want these
You want
tropical plants.
Everything's
Yep.
St. Augustine. Everything grows naturally.
Yep.
Here, we're kind of that zone 8. We're that middle level. And
Yeah, we're the little like dip in the state where
we
it
get
will be
the-
like
we get
10
the
degrees
super warm,
colder.
Yep,
and
the super warm weather than the northeast
Yes.
Florida. We get that cool weather. So we get that middle ground. And
Oh yeah, we had when we lived on the same street in High Springs.
Springs, yes.
And there would be like ice and all kinds of crazy things. She once videoed like a snow flurry.
Uh-huh.
So
Up in High
that
Springs,
happened
yeah.
a few years ago when I was here. It felt like it was super cold one morning doing a school, and it just
it was a legitimate
was,
like
I thought it
snow.
was, yeah.
She filmed it and it was like snow.
It seems
was
about
crazy.
maybe 7, 8 years ago. It felt like
Yeah,
it was a good
maybe.
cold.
Sounds about that,
Cold
right?
snap.
Maybe 6. Susan has another one. Does my lawn need to be aerated? If so, is it necessary to do it annually? What time of year is best?
So yes and no. I always had the opinion that it won't hurt a lawn to be aerated.
Okay.
But not every lawn technically needs to be
it.
aerated.
So what would be something that you see that gives you
The main thing is really soil compaction. Thatch on the lawn. People want to break the soil structure up to get sun, food, water, air into the soil. Then you get situations that a lawn may have real sandy soil. So that aerator runs through it. It just falls back into it, or
okay.
it's a new lawn, maybe new sod. People tear that up. So it's usually it can't hurt a lawn. Like I said, it's the way our program's designed. We more structure it to what each lawn needs individually. We kind of assess that, but so
Right.
it really can't hurt it. But it's not necessarily something that's always needed.
Okay. It would be your lawn person, the master's lawn
Yep.
carer, whoever you hire is the one who can give you advice on
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
Right.
Yeah, it could be yearly, it could be every other year. I said some
Okay.
we've kind of skipped every year and had no
Oh,
effect
so
from it.
it should be done at least every couple of years, if anything.
If anything, yeah,
Okay.
because you're going to have the mower weight. There's going to create some compaction. I would say at least try it every 2 years, 3 years at worst case scenario. But it's not something that needs to be done annually or twice a year as some people do.
Now, Gainesville in general, do you see a lot of clay or do you see more sand, or is it a good 50-50 mix,
So
depending on where you are?
it depends where you are. It seems like the northwest, northeast side of town is more of your native side.
Okay.
Some of your older homes, so that soil structure is a little different. As you start getting towards the southwest or towards the Newberry area, it's a lot of new construction homes.
Sure.
They bring in the fill dirt,
Yep.
which is a little more sandy.
Yep.
That could be either way. It just depends on how it was kind of structured and settled.
Okay.
We've done some yards that were the new construction and plugs came up super easily and it worked great. Other ones where it just didn't turn out too well at all just because of the way the structure of the soil was. Your native soil usually has more nutrient activity and stuff in it, so it's may not need to be done as much. But then again, those same areas also have more trees and more compaction, so it would be beneficial to do it there. It just depends on kind of what the environment of your yard is.
Okay. So I know that you told me about fertilizing. So March, like there's times where you're allowed to fertilize.
Correct.
And there's times that Gainesville, the city of Gainesville or Alachua
So
County.
Alachua County.
Alachua County
Yep.
requires you to, like they say, you cannot fertilize during this time or should not.
That is Alachua County passed an ordinance
Yes.
in 2019, I believe it was.
Right.
Where there's an 8-month blackout for nitrogen, pretty much.
Yeah.
So from July 1st until February 28th is a no nitrogen applied, and then those 4 months you're required to use. They say some people probably don't, but you are required to use a 50% slow release fertilizer.
Right.
In those situations.
What is their theory on that because of all the rain?
Yep. So the nitrogen leaching out into the soil, into the aquifer systems,
Right.
you get your red tide, other situations. We're actually doing some work with UF now on a project researching that.
Okay.
So they gave us pretty much 12 yards. 3 of them are neutral. 3 of them do a top dressing. 3 are nitrogen, and 3 are organic biosolids. we'll finish that in June. They have lysis meters in the soil. So we just run our normal application exempt from the code on those properties.
Okay.
They're tracking that to see what's actually leaching out into the soil. So that would be interesting.
So they've
to
given
see.
you like 3 different locations with these kinds.
So we've had the privilege to work with UFIFAS on that so far.
Yeah, you learn a lot, and then they can release that information.
Yep, because it's the people are very big into obviously the aquifer system, which is why we get back into water conservation. And
well, I don't know if
doing.
it's a secret or not, but we all need water to survive. So,
Well,
so I understand the concern.
No, that's what we tell people all the time.
Yeah.
Plants and turf, they stick them in.
Yep.
It's a living thing, just like a person.
Sure.
It needs food. It needs water.
Right.
I mean,
But it only gets to eat during certain times of the year.
Yep, only certain times. Luckily, we said before
It's like
too
putting
that
a lock on the pantry.
I mean, it's got the sun coming in, so that's a little bit of nutrients for it.
it's got the
so.
natural nitrogen.
Yeah. No, but-
mowing it, the clippings. There's natural ways to put nitrogen, but it does have to be fed.
So we're good to fertilize in March, right?
You are
Yes,
correct.
because I think you said March and April.
March, April, May,
I
June.
picked
are
March
your
because it
4 months.
It's typically
Those 4 months you're allowed to.
Well, we had a lot of rain, and so
Right.
I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it now."
So that means if you missed March, April, you still have May, June to do your application of fertilizer.
Yep, as
right?
long as it's done properly, following the labels of the products. Some people will apply it, not water it properly, or over treat.
Right, and then it just-
then they create nitrogen burn or over apply it, and it does rain or irrigate, it washes into the aquifer system. There's pros and cons to all of it. It's just the labels are there for a reason.
So what's the best sod to have here in Gainesville? I mean, I know everybody loves St. Augustine, and it is really nice when it's not, run by
Bugs,
and-
sunlight,
Yep.
lack
Too
of
much sunlight, not enough
water,
sunlight.
some water.
No, so it obviously depends. If you had the ideal lawn for me, it would be probably full sun with zoysia.
Yeah,
zoysia.
That's
great.
what
Just
I
because of
figured
the tolerance of what it handles. St. Augustine does have the Provista sod now, which is like glyphosate tolerant, drought tolerant, chinch bug tolerant. But St. Augustine is what I consider a very high maintenance grass.
Yes.
It takes a lot of care in the right conditions with just the right love and tender care to it, and it's still very tricky.
Right. So zoysia is the grass.
The zoysia is my ideal. Yeah.
And that's what I'm noticing. We see that developers use when they're developing neighborhoods, and it's probably because it can handle, if there's a cold snap or if there's a drought or that
pest activity,
really hard sun. If you're building in the middle of the sun, or in the summer, or if you're building in winter, again, it starts getting really cold.
It doesn't. Zoysia, the way zoysia has a much deeper root system than St. Augustine. So say it's like a bear hibernating. You put all that energy into it.
Okay.
It goes into the cave. That roots is where all the energy is. So since it's much deeper, it stores more energy to recover from whatever stress.
If you have
it
a
goes
cold
under.
snap, it browns immediately.
Immediately. But if you
and
also,
people freak out.
Yep.
And they're
Same
like,
with
"It's
drought.
dead! It's dead!"
We always say it's the one that goes dormant fastest and actually comes back slower.
Yep.
Right. Yep. And that's because it's
trying to work its way up through the system.
Okay.
Same with
Okay.
drought. You notice it'll turn brown quick.
Oh yeah.
St. Augustine does it. You add water to it, it may recover depending on it. Zoysia,
Yeah,
St.
it'll
Augustine
come
is
back
the
up.
worst.
Yep.
I've dealt with St. We're running late.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah. Okay. So let's take a break and then we'll come back and we'll talk about water conservation and your irrigation. So
Awesome.
Thank you. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll see you.
Welcome to the small town of Alachua, with a population of nearly 10,000 residents and a sparse suburban feel. Alachua has an average age of 35, making it a great community for young families with a variety of activities, such as Alachua Recreation Center, Splash Park, San Velasco State Park, and seasonal festivals. Alachua is zoned for Irby Elementary, Alachua
Yeah, we can go over our
Elementary,
different tips,
Mabane Middle
recommendations.
School, and Santa Fe High School. Downtown Alachua is home to shops and restaurants, as well as the City Hall and a local police department. Neighborhoods such as Windswept Hills, Heritage Oaks, Turkey Creek, Savannah Station, and more are all located just 16 miles from Gainesville. Please visit buysellrebell.com to search for your new home in Alachua.
All right, welcome back from that short video. We've got Chase McNeil from the Masters Lawn Care, and we are going to talk about irrigation. We're going to continue talking about lawn care, especially here in Gainesville, Alachua County. But because it's Water Conservation Month, we wanted to really touch on irrigation practices, the best irrigation practices, and a reminder that I know that the city and county are stopping developers from putting irrigation in up front, and that's because there's a lot of water loss with improper irrigation use. So what are some tips and conversations that we can start on having irrigation?
Yes, It depends, really. I know a lot of the new construction homes, for example, they're coming in with, we talked about the lysimeters.
Right. So tell us what that is.
So yeah, lysimeter is something it's like a soil moisture sensor. Actually, they put it in the ground to detect the rainfall, so it shuts your irrigation off properly. Pros and cons to it.
Nothing angers us more is when it's pouring and the irrigation is on.
Still running.
Right.
Yep. Or
so this is to help prevent that.
Yep. Or if it's dry, it's to help encourage the water to keep it going. The struggle we have found with the soil moisture sensors is they may be put in a super low area or high area of a yard, so it's detecting one of the extremes when the whole yard doesn't necessarily need that, so it shuts off your whole system.
How much grass? How much water does like a normal yard need? Say Zoysia or St. Augustine. Like how many days do you need to water?
So it varies.
And then how for?
Yep.
For
so
how
Alachua County has actually a code and ordinance on that as well.
Oh wow.
Even numbers are certain days of the week.
Yes.
Odd numbers are certain days of the week.
But that doesn't tell you how much your grass actually needs.
No, so
this is what they're telling you may water.
Right. So that depends on also your environment, your turf, your soil structure, the amount of shade you have, the turf type you have. One thing I used to get our guys when we were younger, growing into irrigation, was, hey, you need to run your irrigation for 45 minutes. But then one zone may be spray heads, so that head doesn't oscillate and it stays in one spot. That plant doesn't need 45 minutes of water. It'll create fungal problems. Or if it's a heavily shaded area, it may again create fungal problems.
Right.
Then it may be hot, dry. That area.
So
might
don't
not
treat
get enough
every
water.
area the same.
Right.
That's why you have
every
different zones.
Yep.
Different
typically.
zones, different heads per zone.
But like, someone might go in and say, oh, I'm going to do 10 minutes every single zone, 6 o'clock in the morning every day.
Yep.
And then you're saying some zones don't need that 10 minutes. Maybe
some need a lot more.
Maybe it needs 5 minutes and the other one needs 45 minutes.
So again, most everything when it comes to plant and lawn health-wise of things, the watering depends on each yard individually.
Right. Sure.
Unless you're in a certain subdivision where they're all full sun, set a certain way. But the code-wise is, we always say when time changes, it goes to 2 days a week in the spring, summer. Then back when time changes in the fall, it goes down to 1 day a week.
It rains a lot over the summer typically.
It does.
It does. Yep.
10-minute rain shower at
You're usually July, August.
I typically
timeline.
turn mine off July, August because there's so much rain.
Why would anybody want to pay
Sometimes
GRU
September.
if they don't have to?
Nope, not at all. And that's where it said doing your irrigation checks, knowing your rain sensors work, all your basic small things, there's no leaks. It's going to conserve a lot of water.
So you still suggest the rain sensors that are on your gutter system or on the side of your house for the most part?
I would use that more so than your soil sensor and have it located in the right spot. Ideally, if you're using a HydroWise system, which is it's a Wi-Fi system, it runs off of your closest air tower.
Yeah, so that's really nice.
So
yeah.
it perceives rain
So
coming
if
or
you
going.
have an irrigation system that's 20 years old that doesn't have that new Wi-Fi system, you can still have, call you all or call your
we
company.
could change that out, or we
Right.
could just adjust to make sure your current system's set up properly.
But change it out to the Wi-Fi system that can detect the closest tower.
The closest
right.
tower. And said it'll know rain's coming and hold off on it and vice versa. It's that in general is a little investment up front, but
Sure.
what you save for the water system and your GRU bill, if you have GRU,
Right.
it's
The
well
hefty
worth it.
GRU. So
Yeah, it's
this
well worth
helps
it.
you not just save the environment, but it also saves your pocket.
Yeah, it's a little money back in the pocket to
Right.
do some more things you rather do instead
Maybe
of
buy those plants that you want to water rather than
exactly. Yeah, that or do the fishing stuff or
right.
buy
Or
those lures you want. Yeah.
buy all the lures
Have
and
the lures. That's right.
Yep.
go fishing on that boat that you can afford now that you're
Yeah,
not
'cause
paying
you're
GRU.
GRU. Exactly.
You hear that? Masters Lawn Care says that if you stop watering your yard so much, you can afford a boat. That's what I just heard.
We will not help fund that.
I
though.
think they're saying
What,
if
you'll
you
help fund
irrigate
that?
it correctly, right?
Any money saved is good money. So
That's true.
Yes, that is true.
can't go wrong with that.
So, what are some great tips that you can give to homeowners so that they can, take care of the yard the best? I know you're telling me a lot that it's the same, it's different for every yard, but just maybe up to 5 that you can tell pretty much anybody in this area.
yes, are we more just for just the basic lawn and plant stuff, or are we still trying to target the irrigation so we can go either way?
We
with
could
that?
go either way. So one or two from that, and the
I
other.
know we were talking about water conservation, so I'll kind of stay on that side of
Yeah,
things.
sure.
There is a turf swap program. We're one of 3 companies in Gainesville that's certified to install that. That's pretty much you apply through GRU to kind of save water, reduce turf, add more landscape. We'll come in, as long as they approve you, put a Florida native landscape in, change out your irrigation system in order to reduce water. That's a huge savings on your GRU bill, as well as you can get up to a $2,500 rebate on that as well, which puts money back in your pocket to do that. Your basic irrigation checks, that's a huge thing. People kind of set it and forget it mentality. They come outside and see the grass is wet or concrete. Hey, it's working. But they're not up at 4 a.m. to check it. It's that one head moving, or Is there a leak somewhere creating that water?
Right.
Those small leaks add up huge in a GRU bill. Florida native plants, if you're doing installs, that's a big thing. They don't require near the volume of water. You can use different types of products to help treat with the soil for water retention. Some people don't have irrigation at all, and they use like hydrotain products like that. It's made to retain moisture, and as well as we're doing the organic compost right now.
Okay.
That's also a huge plus to help kind of naturally retain water with the change in your soil structure.
And you guys have go ahead.
I was going to say top 5 favorite Florida native plants. You're like, I don't know. They could be personal favorites. I don't care. I'm just curious.
I almost stay away from the Florida native, just because I like different colors of things. But
You're telling everybody how Florida.
I know. I'm telling them I have the.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah,
what are your favorite to see in yards then? Because there are certain plants that I see and I'm always like, ooh.
Yep. Agreed.
That's a good question, actually.
You like color, so if there's different colors around, right?
I mean, there's certain things like African iris azaleas,
You people and your azaleas.
things like that. I like when they bloom, but as for I'm a color person. It's if a client wants a Florida native design,
you're like, I'm in landscape. I can have whatever kind of landscape I want.
Because you know how to take care of it.
Yeah, if you know how to properly maintain it, I kind of target the high end stuff and like to play with it and see what
I can keep alive.
No, the more I think, I don't have to think about my top 5 favorite. There's a good variety in there.
So we know there's a couple colors in there, so that's right. Yeah. So you have YouTube page you were talking about that people can go to and learn a lot about their own yard care and just yard maintenance and everything. So what is that YouTube page that you have?
It's just under the Masters Lawn Care.
Okay.
Yep, it's a YouTube page. Different team members in the company, our owner and organization, we do different videos of fungal problems, horticultural problems, top dressing, just little tips, trades.
So you can sort of just type it in, whatever problem you're having. And more
or you type problem manager, just type in the Masters Lawn Care and subscribe to the page. Most people go through there. In Florida, they're going to have the same problems from the north part to the south, chinch bugs, webworms.
Right, you can help people down in Fort Lauderdale or help people here.
Yeah, we get a lot of calls from the area. I wish we went that far down south to service, but unfortunately we don't.
Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. Maybe one day. It's a long time to come, but...
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on here talking about lawn care and, giving some good tips and water conservation again for this wonderful month of April.
Awesome. Well, I do appreciate y'all having me. It's been a blast.
All right, great. Well, we have a slide up here that gives Chase's information. Here's his phone number. Do they want your phone number?
Well, that's the office number.
So that's the office number. Perfect. 378-5296. You can call the Masters Lawn Care. And then Chase actually has Chase at themasterslawncare.com. But really, you probably just want to go to their website. And Chase, what is the part of the Masters Lawn Care that you do? Because everybody has different.
So I am now the service manager.
I'm
over our irrigation, lawn maintenance, and lawn health departments. I've worked my way up kind of through those, but I'm our service manager.
Okay, so if you were to call that number or reach out, maybe go on that YouTube page or go to their website, you'll be able to get to the proper person to help you with your needs, and they'll be happy to make your lawn beautiful again and lush, and help you with your irrigation problems.
Absolutely.
If you have any.
No, we just want to have a lawn you can enjoy.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thank you again, Chase. We appreciate it. All right.
I appreciate y'all very much for having me.
There's awkward moments in life, it's fine. We had fun. All right.
If you have a property that you are not ready to sell, but you are tired of dealing with, we are here for you in any of our viewing areas that goes coast to coast and down to Tampa Bay and up to Gainesville. Maybe Alachua if you're nice. So you can reach us at 352-213-6410, and we would be happy to manage your rentals.
Wonderful. If you are a realtor that wants to join a team or change companies, or if you're someone looking to get your real estate license, you can call us at 559-8820 or shoot us an email, join@buysellerrebell.com. We'll go over all the great things we have.
And if you can't get enough of Kristen and Rebecca or Rabell Realty Group, you can find us online and connect at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Google+. Like and subscribe.
Right, like and subscribe our YouTube page. Thank you. Right. Did you know we have a blog? And we actually have a blog about this information on our page, buysilverbell.com/blog. You can read all about it and know what initiatives are going on in Alachua County right now.
And we want to thank the Fiesta Media for putting on this podcast and all of our other podcasts. You can reach them at 352-327-5089 if you would like to have your own podcast.
All right. Join us every Monday at 2 p.m. You can follow us at rebellpodcast.com or join us here at Facebook Live, 2 o'clock every Monday. Thank you.
Thanks.
See you next week. Thank you, Chase.
Thank you, Chase.